Welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. There was a doctor made of life, and they were monstrous. A proper artist with a knife amid a kingdom racked by strife. A bit of a riff on some classic Sondheim, a bit of Sweeney Todd, that feels appropriate for this novella. It's a dark fantasy horror novella where a mermaid and a plague doctor flee a kingdom that has been overrun by the mermaid's children, her daughters, and find themselves in a dark wood ruled by three mysterious doctors who rule over a tribe of children as if they were gods. It's really got just a tremendous command of language. I mean, we saw this earlier this year with The All-Consuming World. Khaw is one of those writers who I have to be very intentional about when I read, because I just know I'm going to want to talk about it here. I just know I'm going to be getting those sensory details that are going to inspire a drink. And, of course, The Salt Grows Heavy is just like The All-Consuming World in that respect. For all that they are very different books, grand space opera, and dark fantasy, horror, fairy tale. But again, that unity of language, that precision of sensory detail. I am historically not a body horror person, but this novella really gets at that wonderfully visceral quality of a body, and does it in loving detail, such that even though you know it would be visually horrific, or even though you can tell that it is a disturbing image, you're compelled, you're drawn in, and it's very lovely nonetheless, in spite of and because of. And that's just the real sort of gift that I've found in Khaw's writing these past few months. You know, it's not, delicious doesn't seem quite the right word, but certainly sensational, certainly tactile, and very, very gifted, very much a gift for the whole senses. So, of course, we had to have a drink for this little novella, the sort that you can, again, read in an afternoon. You can feel the chill of the woods around you. You can, go into the shadows of the night. You can see how mermaids fight for their own, fight for themselves, and see how we can work to explore not only what is dark and grim about the body, but also confront the past, confront the origins of ourselves in a really thoughtful way. So just absolutely a lovely novella. It is more than a Little Mermaid retelling. It is also a retelling of one of my favorite obscure fairy tales, but I don't want to give that quite away. And one that I cannot recommend highly enough. And so, we have to have a drink. Our drink today is The Mermaid's Daughters, and it is inspired by The Salt Grows Heavy. We're going to start with our base spirit, and that is cognac brandy. We're going to get an ounce, we're going to get a full 2 ounces, 2 ounces of the brandy into our mixing glass. You get a sort of comprehensive menu for May this year with the brandy that we used for Under Fortunate Stars, and our next ingredient, this port that we'll get 3/4 of an ounce of, that we used last week for Daniel Polanski's March's End. So you can make a whole May on Bar Cart Bookshelf cocktail party if you were so inclined. So we've got 2 ounces of brandy, 3/4 of an ounce of port. Really this quality of raisiny, resinous wine that you get from the port that's going to bring a real weight and body and a wonderful redness to our cocktail. And then a bit of spice. You know, you could do you could try a mulled wine syrup to really get at the layer of spices in here. But I like, and what we're using is just 1/4 of an ounce of cinnamon syrup, bringing the delicacy of that cinnamon in there while you still get that nice warming baking spice note as well. And this is like set in the woods, in the dark, in the shadows, in the chill, and you need something warming in that. You need to have that bit of winter warmth amid the chill. This is a book that will chill you even as we head into summer, and so having something that's really nice and wintry is, I think, in having tried the book and made the drink, really a nice thing for this time of year. Finally, to round things out, we've got a kingdom that's been overrun by Mermaid's daughters, and so we're going to get 3 droppers full of smoke and salt bitters. A bit of brine, a bit of that sort of driftwood smoke, and a real sort of balance of smokiness to our resinous, raisiny port and warming baking spice cinnamon. Again, with bitters, easy to add more, hard to add less. If you try the drink out and you decide, I don't want quite so much smoke, you can always do 2 dropperfuls. If, once you try it out, like, ooh, let's kick it up a notch, pop another dropperful right in there. Really easy to make the cocktail your own that way. And now we'll add our ice. Very chilly, frosty woods at night. You get that fairy tale atmosphere where you know that there's a darkness in the woods, that you go into the woods for adventure and for the knowledge that you will confront the known and the unknown. Really, as the fairy tale atmosphere is absolutely top-notch in The Salt Grows Heavy. Really a keen eye for tone and an absolutely masterful precision of language. Very, very remarkable. And I had just such a lovely time with the book. Good. Give that a nice solid stir until we're about at equilibrium with our ice, and then we'll prep our glass. Got an old-fashioned glass here, and I'm going to get an ice sphere in there. Of course, you can use a large ice cube, but I really like the sphere, sort of reminiscent of an egg, you know, that a mermaid might lay, though, of course, quite a bit harder than that. And we'll strain our cocktail into the glass. Beautiful. Oh, it smells so lovely. And so there you have it. This is The Mermaid's Daughters, inspired by The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. The Salt Grows Heavy is available now. Got a link to snag the book in the description below. Got a link to the Boston Shaker where we get our tools and ingredients, things like those Pooter Smoke and Salt bitters from Crude Bitters, in North Carolina. Got links to various forms of social media, including Twitter and Instagram, where there is a written version of today's recipe. Try the drink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you've read The Salt Grows Heavy, I would love to hear about it. I had just a really lovely time with the book. It's one that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. Highly encouraged that you check it out. Hit that like button. Makes me so happy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make a friend subscribe if they haven't already, because that really does help us find new audiences. And until next time, cheers.